Hey everyone, welcome back to I Told My Wife I'm Paying Bills. I'm Slim, and today is a very super episode. Unfortunately, the fellas aren't able to make this one, but like I said, we wanted to keep the content going. So I decided to go ahead and ask our special guest today to join because I know he is a super fan. And of course, you see me using these very bad dad puns, very bad dad puns. But you know what? I love a good dad pun, dad joke, all of that.
Nothing
So
wrong with a bad pun.
there you go. And as you can hear, we have a guest here. Uh, we have with us Jason Fishko. Uh, and I've asked Jason to come on the show because he is a super fan, for the lack of better words. As you can see, we have our battling shirts here, which is not really battling, but he's wearing his Superman shirt. I'm wearing my Batman shirt. I'm surrounded by Batman here. And I see you got your Funko Pops in the background. Which I got them somewhere around here. There you go. There goes one of mine right there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
cleared out the bookshelf a little bit just to
Oh,
be a little.
nice. Smallville. Yeah. And I see a luchador hat. That's dope. Luchador mask. So wow, that's cool. That's cool. So everyone, like I said, I've asked Jason to come on the show because over the years, so here's the funniest part about it, right? Over the years, we went to high school together and we had the same group of friends, but we weren't together in the same group for some reason. I don't know. It was really weird. But every time throughout the years, I kept hearing, hey, man, you should really talk to the dude Jason, because y'all are like pretty much the same. I'm like, I don't know. I've never seen him, and it's ironic how I've never seen you throughout all those years of high school. And everyone keeps telling me that, matter of fact, middle school, I think it started in middle school because he was at Heinz too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it started in middle school. So we must have been geeking out all the way for back then.
Oh yeah, for as long as I can remember, I've been comic geek and proud of it.
Yeah. And see that, and that's so hilarious that for all those years. So the main reason why I did ask Jason to come on this episode, I've wanted to get him on other episodes, but he is about, if not more, probably more, maybe less. I don't know. We're gonna find out here. He's about as much of a fan of Superman as I am of Batman. And being who I am, I couldn't completely, and confidently discuss Superman. So I needed a Superman expert on the show with me. So, and he agreed. So, Jason, what's going on? Hey, can we get a little bit of history of you and Superman? Let's start with there. About how old do you remember being in Trance with Superman? Like, when was your first earliest memory of Superman?
Well, first off, I just want to say thank you for having me on.
Oh no, appreciate you
it's
having it.
been
Appreciate you coming.
something I've wanted to do for a long time, and I'm not going to claim full expert status, but I have been reading comics and been intaking comic media since I can remember a memory.
Mm-hmm.
It started the library at Denby High School. My
Mm-hmm.
mother literally had me the year that she started there, and that was my daycare for a large portion of my life. And the
Wow.
first thing I was attracted to were they would have these big illustrated books of mythology. They had all the different mythologies, everything from Egypt, Greek, Roman, Norse, and I was just obsessed with it.
So dope.
And
That is dope.
then I started watching, of course, Super Friends and all those similar types of shows that we had during the late 70s, early 80s. And I just fell in love with superheroes. To me, they are our modern myths. I know a lot of people hate that being said, but they are. I mean, they're morality tales with people who have abilities way beyond ours.
Exactly.
It shows us the path. And I've just loved them. And Superman was an early favorite. I mean, some of my earliest pictures with me and my mother are at my birthday parties where she made me the old Superman cake in the tin shape that made the body. Then you had to ice it. Like,
yeah, I've
love
got a
Superman.
Batman one of those. I think it might be more than one, but I know for a fact I've got a picture somewhere with a Batman cake like that.
Oh yeah. And I mean, as I got older, I mean, like a lot of kids, I mean, I'd say middle school through most of high school, I actually was more a Batman guy.
Mm,
Like I swapped over to Batman really hard, especially summer of '89
of
when the Batman
course.
movie came out. That was the day before my birthday, and I don't know how, but my mom got us tickets for me and my buddies to go, and I was just Batman hooked. But as I've gotten older, there's just something about Superman,
Hmm.
what he represents, the hope, you know, trying to show people how to be a good person. Like in the real world, people with that much power don't tend to be good people. They
Yeah,
just
and
aren't.
you know, it's hilarious. We can go into this a little bit later. It's hilarious because now a lot more TV and movies are actually showing that. Like even in children's movies like Megamind, it showed how people with that much power can be really truly like for lack of a better term, evil. I mean, you know, for a lack of a cleaner term, I should say. uh they just show they're evil. And Superman, he still has that goodness.
Well, and you also just look at what we're going through now. I mean, throughout the world and throughout the country versus
Mhm.
when Superman was created. I mean, he was a
Mhm.
direct response by two Jewish immigrants to Nazism in Germany.
Yeah.
Like that's why
Yeah.
they named him Superman, to turn the entire Nazi Übermensch name on its head. Like
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
see, yeah, that's that, and that is amazing how you know he became a symbol and he uplifted the country at a time where he was needed. You know,
yeah. I mean,
he was created at the perfect timing.
his first adventure is him taking on a billionaire slumlord who,
Mm-hmm.
he's helping people. That's what was one of the hilarious parts when 2025 came out and there was all the reaction for people saying, "Oh, it's woke, it's woke." No, it's just Superman.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's who
It's
he's
just
always been,
Superman,
guys.
right?
Like,
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, and you mentioned 2025, and I'm glad you did because that's bringing me to our next question. Um, was it day one that you saw it, or did it take a little bit of time for you to see it? I know personally, but I want you to go ahead and tell it
oh yeah.
the yeah we talked about this off the air, but go ahead.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to go the very first day. Uh, work, work is work.
Mm.
It
Yeah,
took up time. But
yeah,
as
yeah.
soon as I got the time off, I was first thing I did my day off, and like I came out of the theater beaming. Like
Yeah.
that, the movie made me feel a full range of emotions, which isn't hard. I'm a very openly neurodivergent person. I can tend to be emotional, so
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
I'm
That's all
I'm
good.
easy. I'm an easy mark for James Gunn's movies.
Yeah.
But
So what I want to do today, and for those listening, our listeners, again, thanks for joining us, by the way, too. And any new listeners, thank you. You know, Jason, thanks for promoting here. Um, so what I want to do is I kind of want to go into the 2025 movie first,
right.
because that movie, it was, it was like hard. It's hard for me to explain because it was like a fever dream, but not. It was like a it was meant to come out right now. And I want to go into that a little bit, but I kind of also want to go into different things about like Superman in general. I want to go into the different past Supermen, you know, and I want to go into your take on some of these the actors who played Superman. I want to go into different other things, the Lex Luthers. I love the Lex Luthers. Cuz we have gotten very many Lex Luthers, and I kind of want to get your opinion on some of them. But you know, I want to go into that. But first, we're going to start with the 2025 movie. Um, because, like I said, I don't want to say fever dream because fever dream always makes it sound negative. I don't want to say negative because it was a, it was a really good. It was like it gave me with without trying to sound. I don't know the best way to put it. Without trying to sound like I'm gushing over it because I kind of feel like I
Hmm.
am, but I am. It made me feel like a little kid. And you know it also gave me that adult thing where it kind of like ignited my mind in there with some of the things that it did and said. But also too, there's some Easter eggs, which I'm going to ask you about a couple of Easter eggs later if you notice some of them, and any Easter eggs that you could think of that you notice without that I don't have here on my list. But um, starting out with just the overall feel of the picture, so many people were afraid of James Gunn touching the picture because they were afraid like he was going to make it too goofy. They was going to say, there was so much negative stuff about it. Unfortunately, I was just like, I'm waiting to see, and that's the way I put it, because I didn't want to talk negative about it, because I
Yeah.
was pleasantly surprised with a lot of what James Gunn has done already, including Peacemaker. Really, 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 actually, just threw me for a loop. When I heard that Peacemaker was coming out. And I'm like, why did he pick that character? And even though I saw in the Suicide Squad, I think that's the one with Peacemaker and not Suicide Squad. But
Yeah.
even though I saw the Suicide Squad and I liked his character in the Suicide Squad, I hadn't heard of him besides that movie, and I didn't know much about him. So I was like, man, why is he doing this? And it ended up being really good, just like Creature Commandos. I've never heard of the Creature Commandos. With all these other books that I've read, I've never heard of the Creature Commandos. And I'm like, man, what is he doing? And that show is awesome. That show is amazing. So when I heard he was doing Superman, I was like, I'm gonna reserve judgment, because he hasn't disappointed me yet. And so when I went into the theater Friday night, and I watched it again, like I said, there was moments where I really felt like a little kid, and there was moments where I knew I was felt like an adult, and I was watching something. It was like igniting my brain to say, okay, this is actually pretty cool. This is the way this was made for both kids and adults. So tell me the feeling you got, just an overall feeling really quick.
I mean, when I got home from the theater, my wife asked me how it was because she had to work that day. And she got home while I was I, like I said, I was still just grinning from ear to ear. And the best thing I could tell her was like, it was like I picked up one of my graphic novels and literally got to just dive inside. Like it didn't pick up with the origin. It picked up like, you already knew the DC universe, and we're going to explore the DC universe, and let's go. And
Mm-hmm.
like the colors, the costuming, the DC weirdness, which it's quite obvious that James Gunn is a child of the Silver Age.
Mm-hmm.
When, of course, no big surprise, he also came up from Troma, a big weird studio. So he's always been in love with that stuff. And I knew he was a comic fan
Mm-hmm.
when the news of him being director came out. So I was actually pumped about it. What he did with Guardians is, I mean, he took a D list group at the time, and now they're part of the national consciousness. Like,
Mm-hmm.
everyone knows who Rocket Raccoon is.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so
Groot.
I
Everyone's in
love.
love with Groot. A tree.
Well, yeah,
Everyone is in love with Groot.
I mean, one of the hot Christmas toy was a dancing Groot. Like, that's
Yeah,
insane to
yeah.
think about. If I went back and told middle school me, hey, you know that weird character from Marvel? Yeah, I would have looked at you like you were insane. I
Yeah.
mean, and I've always loved some of the weird, strange characters that DC has. Kite Man, Polka Dot Man, like, and I love that James is giving them a little bit of spotlight. You
I
know,
can't wait to see Kite Man in real life, because the Kite Man that's on Harley Quinn and Kite Man Adventures, Kite Man Hell Yeah.
oh yeah,
Man, I need someone exactly like him, because he is hilarious. That dude is so funny. I gotta get a Kite Man. Go ahead
yeah.
and finish your thought.
I've started doing the Kite Man hell yeah at work anytime I'm good at something, and people are like, "What?" I'm like, "Never mind."
Never mind. You're not
Don't-
geeky enough to understand. Yeah. So the funniest thing about that, it came out on the 11th, and my wife's birthday was right after that, and I was nervous to ask her too. I was like, "Hey, can we go see Superman?" But my wife is a Superman fan, which is hilarious too. I think it was our second Comic Con, our first Comic Con. I can't remember which one it was, but one of the Comic Cons we went to, she's wearing a Superman shirt, I'm wearing a Batman shirt, and we're sitting in the Batmobile. So I got to find those pictures. I have the pictures somewhere on either one of my drives or something, but it was hilarious because, like I said, she was a Superman fan and she's always been. Uh, she's not as big of a fan as I am, but she is a Superman fan. So she wanted to see the movie too, and she enjoyed it as well. Now, we're going to dive into the movie a little bit. Let me ask you about your immediate reaction to the casting choices. You know, with David Cord Sweat, Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Holt, and I hope I said his name. Of course, I said his name correctly because I'm a fan of his work too. Nicholas Holt. I really love. Oh man, now Warm Bodies. Oh man, am I blanking
Well,
out? I have a whole
no,
bunch of.
it's
It's Warm Bodies. I have a whole bunch of. Oh no, that's all good. Um, I have a whole bunch of his movies in my head, but it's like a whole bunch of zombie movies hit my head at the same time that I was trying to get the name of his movie. But Warm Bodies, I believe it is Warm Bodies. Um, and you know, I love Warm Bodies. I love Jack the Giant Slayer. You know, I just love movies that take a story that we're familiar with,
yeah.
like Superman, but takes a story that we're familiar with and kind of flips it a different way. So, before we go into that, because I want to expand on that a little bit too, because I'm going to tell you my thoughts about Superman that way too. Um, Before we expand on that, uh, tell me your thoughts about the casting choices.
I love the cast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I am not going to pretend that I ever watched the Mrs. Maisel show that Rachel Brosnahan was in, but I've heard nothing but great things about it from people
Mm-hmm.
whose opinion I respect on that type of show. So I knew she'd be great. And then when I saw photos comparing her to Lois, and I was like, wow, that may be one of the best Lois Lane castings I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And in David Cornsweet, I mean, yes, there were a lot of people who said, "Oh, he looks like Henry Cavill light," and yeah, but you had to separate. You know, it's the start of a new universe. Unfortunately, I know that
Mm-hmm.
that made a lot of people unhappy, but it is what it is, and we're moving forward. And
Yeah.
I think David was phenomenal. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's really, really interesting in some universal way that he also attended Juilliard, just like Christopher Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, uh, he's the first Jewish man to play Superman, a character created by two Jewish men. Like,
Wow. See, I didn't know that. That is information I didn't even know. Wow.
yeah, and I mean, and he hit it perfectly. The voice change between Superman and when he was Clark.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't seen a good Clark in a lot of years. Like, Christopher Reeves did the best job of separating the two characters in a believable way, in my opinion, personally.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
back to cast Nicholas Holt,
Mm-hmm.
especially when I heard that he had actually also been up for Superman, and
Mm-hmm.
it was actually him and David Cornsweet were the final two, essentially. And
Wow. Wow.
and
That's
James was like,
crazy.
I think you're more Lex, and
Wow.
Nicholas agreed. And he's like, yeah, I think I am that guy.
Yeah.
Skylar Gazondo, that was a casting I called before they even announced it. That Jimmy
Which
Olsen, I just thought,
Jimmy, that Jimmy, okay.
like, he looks like Jimmy from the comics.
He looks like Jimmy, but the whole sex symbol Jimmy thing just threw me way off because to me, Jimmy's always been a nerd. And I was just like, well, aside from the Jimmy that was in the Snyderverse, that, he was some kind of, I don't know, like, what's it called? He seemed like some kind of mercenary in that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, um, Jimmy sex symbol Jimmy just threw me for a complete and total loop. I was way off of the mark with that. Like I was not expecting that, and that was a good casting. I think that was a really good casting, just because he still had that innocent face, even though he was still like a playboy almost.
Well, and that's from the comics. It's like an ongoing joke about Jimmy Olsen. Is he is such a geeky kind of nerdy guy over there. In more recent years, they have kind of made him a little more hip as
Mm-hmm.
far as dressing everything. He's not wearing bow ties and saying
Yeah.
"Gee, Mr. Kent" or any of that anymore. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I mean, it's always been a joke that he's always dating some gorgeous woman,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
I mean, he's dated, if I'm remembering correctly, he's dated Supergirl.
Yeah, they put that across all media. Really, with him dating Supergirl, that's been across. I remember it from the comics, though.
Yeah, like he just has a weird effect on him. And
Yeah,
I've heard he's actually getting his own series possibly on HBO Max, which I'm
nice. That
really,
would be good. That would be really cool.
well, knowing James Gunn, they'll probably lean really into the old Silver Age comics where it's Jimmy in some weird sci-fi adventure almost every
Hmm.
week getting into trouble, which that will be hilarious. Like Skylar was great on Righteous Gemstones. He was great in this. I can't wait to see it.
I've been meaning
I
to watch that Righteous Gemstones. I wanted to see
uh,
it.
it's a riot. It is a trip. You will love Uncle Baby Billy.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen a lot of stuff about him on online about from Dragon Con, which I need to get there one day. Um, back to Superman though. So my take on the casting is this. I know I've seen something that Rachel Brosnahan was in, but I didn't remember her, and so I wasn't sure about her Lois. David Cornsweet I was worried about, only because to me he did have the look for Superman, but he wasn't as built to me to be Superman in the Superman costume. But I knew that he would do a good Clark. And to me, he knocked that Clark out the park because exactly what you said. He was able to switch back and forth between Superman and Clark. Um, the scene with and here we go. Before I go any further, now Superman is out on digital right now. Mid August, it came out on digital. I think it was the 15th. It came out on
Yeah,
digital.
they dropped
All
it a
right.
week early.
Yeah. So there's going to be light spoilers here. Not anything too big, but light spoilers. So if you don't want to see spoilers, go watch it on digital and come back if you don't want to hear it. All right. So uh the scene which is actually in the trailer when Superman and Superman slash Clark is actually being interviewed by Lois, you actually see both there. And that's at one point because you still see the Kansas boy. He's trying to be nice, trying to be respectful, but then Lois starts pissing him off, and you kind of see the Superman, the powerful Superman, when he's getting angry. But he's trying to hold in his anger because this is the woman he loves. You know, and seeing that scene, he's very minutely switching back and forth between those two, but he's doing it right there in that scene. And it to me, I was like, wow, I was amazed in watching it and seeing, okay, he's pulling it off. To me, still, he wasn't the best in the costume. I really wish they had did his costume a little differently. The whole lines threw me off, and it almost looks like the costume is like too big for him, almost to me. But I still think he did a good Superman. I like the whole complaining a little bit he did, like as Superman, like
Yeah,
when he was getting hit and stuff like that, and different things, whatever, uh, and like what threw me off too is the whole thing where people in the beginning, they ended up switching it, but one of the first trailers was somebody throw something at him at his head and he flinches, and it was
yeah,
like, yeah, it's Superman. Why would he flinch? Okay, the things that people notice and the things that it's just like, okay, he's Superman, he wouldn't flinch, but if he's not expecting it, it's coming from and I don't know, I think flinching is still a natural enough reaction, and he
yeah.
still grew up amongst humans. So
Oh yeah, and I mean, when you think about it, I mean, he doesn't have just a secret identity because he has the Clark that he shows the world,
hmm
which is
hmm
kind of inept, and so nobody catches on. But then there's the actual Clark that grew up with his parents that Lois
yeah
knows that not a lot of people know, and a lot of people say, "Well, that's just Superman." No, no, he when he's Superman, he turns it up another notch with where how he holds himself and how he
hmm
carries himself.
yeah yeah
He's not as relaxed.
hmm yeah
But and
so
that
sorry.
Juilliard training is is what you saw there in that that scene.
So I kind of want to touch on Lex Luthor. So Michael Rosenbaum, of course, is my favorite Lex Luthor, just because of the exposition, everything that he does, how he moves. He's cool, calm, collective, but he still has an underlying little bit of evil in his eye that you could see. Now, it's controversial, but a lot of people will probably agree with me now that more people are doing rewatch. But that Clark created that Lex Luthor. I mean, of course, his father had a lot to do with it too, but I believe a lot of the issues in Smallville could have been different if Clark had told Lex his secret earlier. However, I understand we wouldn't have the show, and there's other things. But anyway, that Lex Luthor to me was the best. However, the Lex Luthor from Justice League was key to me. I love that Lex Luthor, and it's so hard for me to say anyone else. Like between those two is two of my favorites. Now, Nicholas Holt as Lex Luthor, he was he was different. He was scary almost.
Yeah.
Like seriously, the hate that he had for Superman, that is the hate that you see in some of the comic books that I've read. I haven't read a lot of Superman comic books. I read a lot, but not. Sorry, I read some, but not a lot of comic books. But from the comic books that I read, his hate for Superman, the unnecessary hate, just because Superman's an alien, and Superman is not somebody he can control, and different things like that. That was shown by Nicholas Holt, and I was like, holy crap, this dude is like angry. And he brought it. He brought it. He swung for the fences and it like went sailing across, man. I was like, wow.
I loved how just absolute petty he was. Just
Mm-hmm.
Prince Petty. But
Yeah.
I mean, he is up there with Rosenbaum for me as one of my favorite Lexes. He's to me one of the most comic accurate of the current Lexes that there are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I found it funny that when you were saying about Smallville that Clark created Lex, and in the original comics, essentially that is what happened. Lex was Superman's friend, and trying to save him from a lab explosion, he lost all of his hair and went crazy, and that's why he initially hated Superman. I mean, it was the 30s and the 40s. The storylines weren't exactly the most original or anything like that, but how that kind of weirdly ties into Smallville, because I mean, Lex loses his hair when the meteor storm, when
Yeah.
Superman first comes down
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Earth, and I loved Smallville. Gene Hackman, of course, an amazing actor. His Lex was for many years the standard, even if he wasn't really the most comics accurate.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'd really have to go back and look, because I'm almost positive there was probably an era where that was a fairly almost accurate representation of him. He's evolved over the years into multiple different things.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always hated Superman, and it's always involved him being smarter and richer. But
Mm-hmm.
I would not be surprised if somewhere along the line, something I missed, he was just a con man grifter, like he was in the '78 Superman.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to get back to that. So we're going to get back to that. And like I said, this is probably going to be another episode because I want to get into the other different versions of Lexes and everything like that. Tell me your
Okay.
thoughts on that Nicholas Holt, though. On Nicholas Holt being Lex. Let me know what you think about him, because like I said, he was to me very scary. He was a very scary Lex. And it was just like I said, how much he hated Superman. And it seemed like it was for no reason, just other than him being an alien from out of space, and it was mainly because he couldn't control him.
Well, I mean, it's Lex Luthor from the comics now. Like
Mm-hmm.
he hates Superman because he's an alien, and because you know Lex has done all sorts of horrible things to get to where he is, and he just wants to be admired. He wants everyone to know that he is the best human to ever have lived, the
Mm-hmm.
greatest, the richest, everything, the smartest. And along comes this guy who's just naturally has the abilities of a god, and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what Lex does. Like Superman's always there, seemingly stealing his thunder in his mind,
Hmm.
and he just hates it. And the pure envy, you know. Nicholas Holt did such a great job of communicating that into such a psychotic way. I mean, like you said, that was a scary Lex Luthor. Like some of the things he did in this movie, people I've watched several reactions to it, and people are just certain moments, and I think you know which one I'm talking about.
The
But
dog one?
people are absolutely shocked that they didn't think that would happen, not in a Superman movie. Like,
You talking about the dog one?
oh
You
no,
don't
I'm
have to
talking about
go full detail, but which kind of like
I mean,
vague
in the
details?
prison when he
Oh,
first comes to question Superman.
yeah, that one. Oh my gosh, yeah, that one.
Yeah,
That part in that prison was that actually shocked me too, because I think I actually gasped. I think I did in the theater, because I was just like, wait, he did that. They actually let him do it. I mean,
yeah.
that's something that you would expect Lex Luthor to do anyway. But the fact that he actually did it in a DC movie, I was like, okay, all right,
I mean,
I see where we're going.
it's at that point where he, as a villain, crosses the line in your head because, yeah, he's unleashed a monster on Metropolis, whatever, but he's not actually killing him by his own hand.
Yeah, no,
But this is just straight cold.
that whole
Yeah,
kaiju man, he had his guys release a kaiju, and it's like
yeah.
what? Like what? I
Like,
just couldn't get that. I'm like, this is your city that you put so much money into, and you're gonna let them destroy it. I mean, I get it. You could pay for it, you can get it, whatever, you know. And the fact that he was so cool about the black hole basically forming, um the fact that he was so cool about that, and Metropolis was being eaten inside itself, I was like, how does he not see that he's causing more, doing more hurt than harm, I mean harm than good. He's doing more harm than good. And I just couldn't get it. I really couldn't get it. And that's how I know it was a really good movie, because it drew me into the point where I was like really questioning. I was like, are you kidding me? This guy hates this dude so much that he will cause so many other people to die just to get that one guy. It's
yeah,
crazy.
and he has that one line that shows it all there at the end when he's freaking out and he's like, "No, they chose him over me. They
Mm-hmm.
can die."
Mm-hmm. That's
Like,
just
that's Lex
ridiculous.
Luthor.
Yes, yes. That was so ridiculous. That was so ridiculous. And that's why I love that speech in the end too. Clark's speech that so many people have seen. It's in part of commercial. You could see it. It's on Facebook. It's everywhere. But that speech was so important to let Lex know. It's like, look, you hate me for no reason. He's like, I'm more human than you, because right now you are not being a human. You are just being someone. You're being a monster. And
Yeah.
you know, it's so crazy. It's crazy. So I want to talk about fun things though.
Okay.
Uh, the Justice Gang.
It's just a working name. It's not our
Yeah,
name.
yeah, the Justice Gang. What's your thoughts on that, on this iteration of the soon to be Justice League?
Uh, I found them hilarious. Obvious influence from Justice League International from the '80s.
Mhm.
I mean, James even said before filming he was casting Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner just so he could put him in the bowl cut.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
and he was great. He was hilarious. I love that we got Maxwell Lord, and it's pre 0 hour New 52 Maxwell Lords back
Man,
in the '80s.
I'm so sorry for anyone who's a true James Gunn fan. I'm just tired of seeing his brother in everything that
Yeah,
he puts him in. And especially in some of these important roles, like Maxwell Lord. I wanted to see somebody a little bit more charismatic. And I'm not saying anything negative about Sean Gunn, but now when I see Sean Gunn, I see Weasel. I see, I
Cracklin.
can't remember. What's the name of the other one that's in Guardians?
That's
Uh,
Cracklin.
Kraglin. Yeah, I see
Yeah,
Kraglin. I see Weasel. I see all these other different things because he does all these different characters, and I'm like, pick somebody else. Pick somebody else. I understand you want to put your brother to work. Put him
Yeah,
to work in something else that he's done. And I understand his brother probably wants to have better roles. But Maxwell Lord, come on. I want to see somebody differently. There's so many other people you could put, but it's fine. It's fine. I was happy to see Maxwell Lord because he's building that world now.
yeah, and I love the world build out. I love seeing the Hall of Justice in real life,
Yes,
like
yes.
that,
And they actually go in and use it.
and the Golden Age mural behind it up on the walls with all the classic characters, and
Hmm.
again, it's James Gunn, so some of them were some really strange characters that a lot of people
Yeah.
haven't heard of, and
I I
I
think I only recognize two of them. I think or three. I think I recognize Vibe. I recognize Wildcat, and I recognize was there Knight there? It wasn't the Knight, or it was the it wasn't
the
Hex. Was
Atomic
it?
Knight,
Yeah, was he there?
yeah, yeah,
That's what
that
it
was one
was.
of the ones
Okay.
I loved. Him being in
Yeah.
there as the Atomic Knight.
Yeah.
That is such a deep pull from DC lore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've never read any of those comics yet at all, at all. So Um, the Justice League, seeing the Hall of Justice to me had me freaking out. I remember freaking out the very first time I saw that same Hall of Justice in The Flash. So I saw
Oh
it
yeah,
there and I freaked out. I wasn't as loud this time because I was in the movie theater, but I freaked out and I was happy. And then actually the fact that they went inside and it looked like it was being set up anyway, that was really cool. Um, and I haven't brought this guy up yet because I'm gonna talk about length in this guy about Mr. Terrific though. But seeing Mr. Terrific and seeing Hawk Girl, I wasn't too happy about this Hawk Girl, and I have high hopes for her. I hope she does more, but I wasn't that happy. And I did like the fact that she kind of does that the Hawk Girl scream when she does certain things.
her
That was kind of
screech.
cool. Yeah, the Hawk Girl screech. That was cool because that's kind of like Hawk Girl, like what Hawk Girl does, and like in actual some of the comics they have the whole screech. Some of the things though. Well, I said the Hawk Girl comics, but in the comics that I read with Justice League, they have her like doing the scream thing. So
Yeah,
that was cool. Uh, but Hawk Girl wasn't one of my favorites, but again, I have high hopes for her because of the dedication I think this character can bring. This actress can bring. Actor, however we want to say it. But I feel like she has dedication and she knows that she has something good. So I think she can actually bring something good to this role. So I have very high hopes. But Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, perfect casting. Perfect casting because he can play an a-hole. He can play lovable. He can play an a-hole. He can do so many different roles, and that is why that's one James Gunn recasting that he constantly uses. That's one role that I love that he cast, and I'm happy anytime he pulls Nathan Fillion. I'm happy about it. Um, but when I first saw Edie Gathethi, I had his name practiced so much, and I still screwed it up. uh Eddie, when I first saw him as chosen as Mr. Terrific, I was like, man, come on. Why did they pick him? Um, and then I saw him as Mr. Terrific. That dude was smooth. He was perfect. He needs his own series. You talk about Jimmy Olsen? He basically kind of stole the movie a little bit. Just a little
oh,
bit.
and it is rumored they're talking about a series for him as well, which
He needs it. He needs it.
I am fingers crossed because I had the exact same opinion you did. I saw the picture of him before they had put him in makeup and before they'd give him the entire look and before I even saw what he was doing with the character. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't know. I mean, I really like Mr. Terrific. I'm a big Justice Society guy.
Yeah.
I high hopes for that character. And you're right. He stole the movie. Like he was
Yeah, he
amazing.
did.
Every time he's on screen, he's hilarious.
His solo
He's
fight scene was
badass.
Oh man, his solo fight scene was amazing. It was so
Oh yeah,
amazing, and I was like, come on, and just everything. Oh, and his wise cracking and everything, and just the different stuff he said. Man, you brought that dog. So come on, man. I wanted to cosplay as Mr. Terrific for years, and I
Yeah.
almost did. I almost bought the spandex Mr. Terrific suit and almost bought the coat. Now I refuse to do it only because there's going to be so many Mr. Terrifics now that
Oh yeah.
I'm just not going to do it. If I cosplay, I want to do one that's not done a lot, and also I want to do one that means a lot to me, which Mr. Terrific did mean a lot to me. He still does, but now there's going to be so many people doing it because they like, oh, I want to do Mr. Terrific, I want to do, so no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So um, I want to go more into the different themes and talking about the movie a little bit more before we wrap up. So,
Okay.
uh, tell me your thoughts on like the different themes and how things went. Like, Lex had his girlfriend, and his girlfriend was actually a spy. Oh, that was kind of a spoiler. Sorry. But there's more to it than that. His girlfriend was kind of spy, but there's a lot that happens there. But like and then the whole prison scene and different things like that. Tell me your thoughts on the flow of the movie and different things that that came up that was out of the ordinary for a Superman movie, but to me, I think they fit. So, what do you think?
Well, I'll jump into that in just a second. I just wanted to say I'm matched with you on Nathan Fillion. Great
Mm-hmm.
casting. But
Mm-hmm.
there is one other guy, and the internet, of course, also fan cast him before the movie as well. I really would have enjoyed maybe seeing Sean William Scott get a shot at Guy Gardner
Yes, for those who don't know,
like
Stifler.
that.
Yes, yeah, I could see that. I could see him being Guy Gardner as well. But I can't see him in the Bull. I see him being the Guy Gardner that we got right now with the short, almost
Yeah,
buzzed military cut. But
yeah.
yeah, I good. Yeah, good. That would have
I
been a
just think
good
it would have been
pull.
hilarious.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. I really think he would have. If it wasn't Nathan, because Nathan is the older, so and then he kind of made the older Guy Gardner, but Sean actually would be a really good Guy Gardner just from seeing how he did Stifler and a lot of other characters that he did in other roles that I can't think of right now, but I remember seeing him in so many different things. Role models, just seeing him in role models is now just playing in my head. Yes, I
if you
agree with
haven't,
you.
and if you haven't seen Goon, I highly recommend that. It's him as
I've
a
been
hockey
meaning to
enforcer.
because of Kevin Smith. I've been meaning to actually see that. I wanted to. So,
So yeah, it's a good one. Um,
mhm.
but yeah, I'm actually interested to see how Nathan Fillion fits into the Lanterns show because he's supposed to be appearing in that as well. But they've
Yeah,
already said that vibe's going to be maybe a little closer, like a True Detective almost.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. I read that as well. So I'm anxious to see how all the lanterns fit, and then he comes up and he's there and he's kind of comic relief. So I want to see how they do that. So
but from what I've seen, I mean, it appears James is trying to give each series its own feel, like its own comic book, and
hmm
I'm wondering if that will translate in how characters behave in a different series. Like maybe Guy Gardner won't be quite as comic relief in Lanterns. He still be
hmm
comic relief because he's always there
right.
for that, but maybe he's a little more serious because it does look like it might be a slightly grittier show.
So I could see him being kind of in. Have you ever seen Reacher with Alan
Yeah, yeah,
Richardson? Yeah, so I can see him kind of being that kind of comic relief, where how Reacher is serious but funny.
yeah,
Still, I can see him being like that. So, but I would say with Nathan Fillion, it'd be turned up a little bit more comically. So,
yeah. And the flow of the movie itself, like it was honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, because I'm sure I sound like I just am absolutely gushing James Gunn lover and everything. I mean, the movie was a bit chaotic. There's a lot going on, but
hmm hmm
I really kind of dug that because to me that is kind of like how a comic book is. Like you do jump scene from scene. You do weird cuts where maybe you're with some characters in this panel, and the very next panel you're with these characters. Like
hmm
I think he's doing a really good job of mimicking the experience of reading a comic, but just turning it into a movie. And
hmm
I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. I did have that feel. I said that actually at the top of the show that I did have that feel like it was almost like a comic, and I felt like a little kid like just watching it. So I agree. I agree that it was chaotic. It had a lot going on, but you could still follow the story. It was a
Hmm.
storyline that was very linear, and there was and those little offshoots that happened because they had to push the story along. Different things that happened, and it's so funny too because the leader of Bialia, was that Bialia? That wasn't Bialia, was it? The leader of the country that they went, that was going on.
Bor- Boravia.
Boravia, yeah, that one.
Mhm.
And the reason why I was thinking Bialia is because of Young Justice, but Boravia, I didn't even realize that dude until I kept watching him in theater, and I kept saying, "I know that dude. I know that dude." Ended up coming home and googling, and that is the dude that was in the movie 2012. He was
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't recognize him either.
he was a Russian guy who had that car, and he was like, "Everybody shut up," and he goes, "Car starts." So that was him. I didn't even realize that, and once, like I said, it was just I kept seeing him. And I was like, "Who is that dude?" So and finally I was just like, "Oh, okay, I got it now." So, but anyway, um, yeah, the whole flow, man. It was a really good, and it was a really fun watch.
Well, and it didn't feel like it was as long as it actually was.
Mm,
Like I never was bored in the movie, really.
yeah.
And there are slower parts to
Hmm.
the movie,
Hmm.
but I I never found myself checking my phone or anything or saying like how long has it been? How much longer is the movie? No, I wanted to stay. I wanted more.
Yeah.
Give me another half
Yeah.
hour or two.
Yeah. And so, um, what was really funny about that, with some of those slow parts, some of those slow parts weren't even that slow. Like they were slow because they had to slow the tone down a bit,
Hmm.
but they were still so engaging. Like, you got that feels. He gave you some kind of feel in at those slow parts. When they had their argument, and she was just like, I knew this was a bad idea. You felt that. You was like, man, what are y'all doing? You
Oh yeah,
really felt like something was about to go down. Like, oh my gosh, are they about to break up? you know.
like
So
yeah, I've been in fights and relationships like that. Like
uh,
that's I felt
yeah,
that one,
yeah,
and
yeah. That
and
that was heart. That was really all heart right there. So
the moments with his parents,
yes,
like
yeah.
those were
Do you know what
like I
got
said
me?
earlier. Oh, sorry.
No, no, no. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for cutting
No.
you off, but I wanted to get this out before I forgot. Don't forget your thought. Hold your thought. But what got me? You just mentioned about his parents. The telephone scene with his mom on the phone and trying to help his mom. Well, he didn't really try to help his mom, but his mom trying to talk to him, and she's like talking from a long distance. It's like sitting up and kind of hovering over the phone. That was like, come on, that was like perfect. But go ahead and say what you had to say.
Well, and I work in cell phone sales, and I do live out in a fairly rural area. That is
Mm-hmm.
real. That is
Yeah.
100% real. I have witnessed that exact behavior.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
what I thought it was great. A lot of people complained and said, "Oh, the Kents shouldn't be like that." James Gunn grew up in rural Missouri,
Mhm.
real close to rural Kansas. Like
Mhm.
he knows what those people are like. I'm going
Mhm.
to trust his opinion on what he thinks Clark's parents might be like being from that area.
Yeah, yeah.
But those moments were so they're just great. Like I
Mhm.
mean, it's in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. But when his mom just looks at him, she's like, "I'll go. I just cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for you." Like, like such a doting mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
that is Ma Kent. And for me, this was, and I know it's blasphemy. There's going to be a lot of guys like me, middle-aged guys in their 40s who grew up on Christopher Reeve's Superman who are going to yell blasphemy at me. But this is my favorite Superman movie. This is
Yeah.
my favorite
Yeah.
representation of him. This is the closest, like I said earlier, that I thought they've ever gotten to making it feel like I had just stepped into a comic book.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely get that. I get that, and I can understand. Um, I watch. the '78 Superman on the way back on a flight this past July. It was actually I believe after I saw. I'm trying to remember when it was, but because we saw that one the 12th, and I think we left the next week. But um, I watched it right after I saw this one, and I can say this one was complete and total upgrade, and it did something no other Superman movie did. It took the heart of that one and everything that one represented, and it took it to another level for me. So I can honestly, most likely I can say I'm being really reserved because I don't want to hurt my childhood self, but um I think I can agree with you and say, yeah, this is the best Superman that's ever been made. I think I
Well,
can actually say that.
and don't get me wrong, I still love Christopher
Yeah,
Reeve.
yeah, there you
That's my
go.
shirt. Kid looking up
Yeah,
to Christopher Reeve. Like
I
that's
love that shirt.
he will he's forever going to be my first Superman. He's who taught me what Superman should be as a
Hmm.
character. So nothing but love for Christopher Reeve. But this was amazing. This was
Yeah.
really really well done, and it was done with a lot of love. You can tell James Gunn actually cares about this universe, about these characters. Like he did
Yes.
not skimp. Like you said,
Yeah.
there's Easter eggs everywhere. He
Yeah.
dug deep into the DC roster. Like this guy cares about this universe. This is not just
Mhm.
yeah, comic, that's kind of cool. Let me put my gloss over it. No, James Gunn wanted to bring you the comics he read as a kid.
Yeah,
You know,
and it shows. It really truly showed. Just getting all this from James Gunn. I have high hopes for the DC universe, and I was nervous at first, but I have high hopes for the DC universe. Because when he came in, he basically fired so many people. I was like, oh come on, these people are perfect for these roles to me, and I thought they were just mishandled. But I think he wants to do a white clean slate to like give everyone a clean palette, and that's what it was. So he's just like, no, this is my universe, and this is why I'm doing it this way. So I truly agree, and I think I could say this is the best Superman that I've ever
well,
made. So
and as we've seen with Momoa being Lobo, he has shown he is open to bringing these same actors back
right,
as characters, and
yeah,
and even though it might be a tiny bit of a spoiler for Peacemaker this season, it's kind of showing how they're going to deal with their version of the multiverse. Like
I
those
saw a
characters still exist out somewhere,
yeah.
so they can always show up. You never know. Like
Yeah, I saw
Zach and
I
James
saw
are
some of
friends.
it. I saw some of that too, and actually too, I saw something. I think I want to say it was Rick and Morty. They had actually talked about whether those two had met up and like on a show and talked about whatever they did. But yeah, I did see something about that. I need to actually watch Peacemaker, but I didn't want to. Usually, if I really like a show, I'll binge it the whole day, and I
Yeah,
like I that's why I was like, okay, let me get some under my belt before I do that because I can get locked in and I'm like, oh man, that's cool. So, but anyway,
yeah. I
so
waited till this weekend to watch it just to
yeah,
catch the first two
yeah,
episodes,
so
but I'm like a junkie now. I was like, I need another episode. Come on,
exactly,
let's
and
go, let's
that's
go.
what I don't want to do. So because I did that with Wednesday, and now I'm sitting here waiting for part two, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
should have just waited for the whole season. So, so we're coming up on time. But before we go, I wanted to ask you a couple things about little nuances in the movie, and then I think, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and make this another episode. We're gonna make another episode. So please, if you're listening, please come back and listen. We got some more content for you about this because I want to get into again the different versions of Superman, different versions of other characters and other shows and things like that. And I also want to kind of talk about some of the Easter eggs that were going on. But the I want to talk to you about some of the little nuances like the glasses. What was your thought about the glasses?
When I finally found out that they were going to use the hypno glasses
Mm-hmm.
storyline, uh, genius. I mean, it's from the comics, it's canon, and it's just enough of a shove that some of those people who can't get over the whole, all he does is put on a pair of glasses. It,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's just enough of a shove to be like, all right, well, here's an explanation. Here you
Yeah.
go.
So So I love that. I love the fact that they brought him in. I really wish they had did a different way to kind of introduce it. because of the way the character who actually said something about it, and then they kind of went that whole back and forth about it. I felt like that was a little too forced,
Yeah.
but I still like the way that they actually still did it, and the fact that they said, "For all you people who don't believe, this is what happened." I like that. I do like that because they was just like, "Okay, all right, now I can understand. Fine, right?"
Well, and if I remember from the comics, uh, the explanation was that that's actually one of his powers. He has a not
hmm
so subtle psychic abilities that need to be enhanced. They're not powerful enough to really do much,
hmm
but the glasses, they're the lenses that are made of the same type of crystals, I guess, from Krypton, and they
hmm
enhance the latent psychic ability enough just to confuse people of, hey, that's not Superman, that's Clark Kent. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. So
I wish
that
they had
was cool.
explained it, how they work a little bit more to people, because
hmm
even with the hypnoglass, there's been a lot of people who are like, but how does it work?
I kind of
Like,
wish they had did one of those scenes where um they there was a lot of ad not ads a lot of marketing before the movie came out, and they did a thing where he's like wearing the glasses and then he takes it off and everybody's like, "Where's Clark girl?" I kind of wish they did something not exactly like that because that was really comedic, but something to that effect where he like took the glasses off, but not in front of somebody, but it was like almost instant. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like he got somewhere, walks away, takes the glasses off, changes, and comes back, and then somebody's just like, you know, yeah, Clark was just over there. Did you see him? That something like that. Not exactly like that because I'm not the best writer, but something like
or
that.
have him step out from changing into a Superman outfit and still has the glasses on, and somebody asks Clark, "Why are you wearing a Superman outfit?
Yeah,
Like, are you going to a costume party or something?" Like,
yeah, that would have been hilarious. Yeah, I would love to see that one time. They actually have Clark in a Superman outfit, and then he's just like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to a party," something on Halloween or something. So anyway,
well, and speaking of the outfit, like you were saying, initially I wasn't the hugest fan of the look. Like, it was a
hmm
little too baggy, and if you look at the after credit scene, it does look like they're kind of trying to tighten it up a little bit.
oh,
But
okay.
but James did explain why he made the outfit like that, because in his head, like, Clark grew up a farm kid, and a farm
hmm
kid, when he's going out to do work, he's putting on coveralls, and so that's kind of Superman's work outfit. It's kind of an alien set of coveralls in a way, and
Hmm,
that was his kind of explanation, really, and
that's interesting.
it worked for me. I mean, I can see that because of how his parents were and everything. He seems like he's that kind of farm kid that was working every day
hmm
and living
Yeah,
around those types of people. I do see a lot of people rolling around in coveralls, or the heavy, where you can see the ribbing Carhartt jackets and such like that. They
yeah,
all wear out on
yeah.
the farm.
hmm Okay, yeah. I don't know. I kind of see. I'm anxious to see if he changes the outfit and not like a complete. Doesn't have to be a complete change, or maybe just tighten it up or something. But yeah, I can kind of see that. I can a little bit, but still, I
I think it's
think
going to evolve a little bit.
yeah.
I mean, after they hear some more feedback from it, I think it'll evolve. But I
Okay.
like the
Yeah.
look of it in the end credit scene, like the
hmm
way it looks. It's looking a little more. The shape looked a little more like the classic character shape. So
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to get into was the end credit scene. Um, and what did you think about how the end credit scene came in? I'm gonna leave it vague enough, but the special character. What do you think about the way the special character came in? A lot of people probably already know it. So, but what do you think about that?
I love the special character.
Yeah.
Um,
hmm
but I also love that the end credit scenes ultimately, I mean, not to be a spoiler, but you don't need to see them. They're not key to the next step of the DC universe, and
hmm
that is something that James Gunn has been very public about. Is that he wants all these movies to be standalone movies if you
hmm
want them to be. You shouldn't
Yeah.
have to go see every single thing. That's one of the issues with Marvel. Is at a certain point it became homework for people. Like, yeah, I want to
Yeah.
go see that movie, but I've got 15 movies I would watch before I get to that.
Yeah, yeah. It
And
did get really ridiculous with Marvel. Like, I can understand linking 2, 3 movies together and then stopping and then doing something else, but
yeah,
it got really weird. So yeah, I was happy with that. I like how the character came in. I like that they're actually using that storyline that I haven't read yet, so I'm probably gonna read it, even though like now a million people are probably reading it. But I like the storyline that they pulled from. I was apprehensive because of the character, the actor that was actually chosen for that character. I'm a
hmm
little more on board, but again, like I said, I have to actually see more action. So we're going to see how that works out.
well, I mean, I was reading up on the storyline. I openly admit I'm not the huge fan of that character in the books. I have not
Mm-hmm.
followed them forever, but I was like, okay, well, this is getting rave reviews, so I looked it up to kind of see, what's a basic
And
rundown of
that's
what
the
it's about,
yeah.
and it had a little bit of trivia there that the original draft of it featured, well, character that's going to be in that movie that we recently
Yeah.
spoke of,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. So yeah, I saw I did see that. I know what you're talking about. And then there's a
yeah,
character that we mentioned earlier is going to be in it as well. So
yeah, and that it's actually very much like a version almost of True Grit
mm-hmm.
is what the story. And I'm wondering if they're going to be going more in line with the original story versus the one that came out in the books, because I don't think it's that much altered. It's just
Mm-hmm.
a few things, but I wouldn't be surprised because he's also been open about this not actually being the universe from the comics either. It's its own separate DC universe.
Right. Yeah. That's yeah. So I'm anxious. I'm anxious to see. I'm really anxious to see what Batman he uses. It's like we're gonna get the Brave and the Bold, but which is the other Batman, So I'm anxious to see how that comes about. But either way, I'm going to I gotta pull this up here because now my computer is moving kind of weird. I
Uh,
gotta pull up this other document here. Um, boom, there we go. All right, so uh, we're gonna go ahead and cut this episode right here.
all
Uh,
right.
because we have so much other content and I can go on some more because this whole comic and I really want to get into the others and like the other instances of Superman, the other Lexes, the other, Jimmy's. I'm not so. Anyway, we can get into all of that a little bit later. So please come back for the next episode, everyone, because this was a treat. Jason, thank you for joining me. I really, really, truly appreciate this. And
Thank you for having
again,
me.
yeah, I needed someone who can actually go into more about Superman than I could because again, as y'all can see, this is the dude that I know about right here. Actually, too, that bar right there, I have it programmed with a word that I'll show you in a minute once I go off. I mean, I can show you now, but either way, I don't want somebody like anyway. Uh, but I have it programmed to where I can actually say the word, and it's like one of Batman's words, and I did it like a combination of things to where that light will come on, and I wanted the light around that to come on, it's getting darker, so I'll probably turn those lights on. Maybe I don't know yet. We'll see how it looks, but yeah, I'm that much of a Batman fan. I'm really geeky, but anyway,
There's nothing
anyway,
wrong.
yeah, I know, right? Anyway, so anyone who wants to actually reach out to us and if you got any questions, comments, or whatever, you could email us at toldmywifepodcast@gmail.com. You could actually follow us on Instagram at toldmywifepodcast. You can follow us on Facebook. I told my wife I'm paying bills. You can subscribe to our YouTube page at I told my wife I'm paying bills podcast. You can actually find me on TikTok at SlimTour78. Lately, I've been posting a little bit of. I just built you can't see it, but the little Lego Batmobile behind me is right there. Um, I posted that. I posted that build up there recently. I also posted a video. I'm about to post a video, but I posted the pictures that I took my Halloween decorations down. I'm about to post what my Halloween yard decorations looked like last year. I posted that video before. I think it was on Facebook, but I'm going to post it on TikTok. If you want to check it out, you can find me on SlimTour78 because this year I'm going to actually post me upgrading that yard setup. And I'm posting like I'm going to be doing a Skeleton King, a whole bunch of different stuff. So go ahead and follow me, check me out, like, comment, subscribe. Ooh, I just hit that microphone. Like, comment, and subscribe. But you can also find a lot of this podcast content. You're going to find some of our clips from this show and many more on at Told My Wife Podcast, or that TikTok. And just like I said, just kind of subscribe, like, comment, share. Please share. It can help us get out to more people. I want to try and go live one of these days that I'm actually doing it behind the scenes. I'm going to go live on TikTok. I didn't want to do it tonight because I got to go live and get it all figured out first. But one of these days I will be doing both. I'll be going live, and I'm just gonna. I want my internet and all that stuff to be straight first. So,
Gotcha.
Before we sign off, Jason, you got any last comments?
Not really, other than thank you guys for coming on. I may, in the future, look to even start my own podcast. I love talking about this kind of stuff. It's been great to actually talk to somebody else about it.
Sure.
Not really a lot of people up here where I live that are into that stuff. And it's been fun. So.
Well, if you definitely do start your podcast, we'll be behind you all the way. We'll promote you. We'll have you on. We'll probably have you on a couple more times too. There's different things, different movies, different shows and stuff coming out over time with DC Universe, other things too. I see you're a wrestling fan. I know you're a wrestling fan. So, if we have episodes about wrestling, we may talk about that. We actually may talk about some video game stuff because I know you're a gamer as well. So,
right.
we got some other stuff we can actually talk about. So we'll definitely invite you back, and you'll be able to jump on with the guys as well. So that would be really cool and really fun.
I'd love it.
So yeah, for sure. Well, for now, we're gonna go ahead and sign off here. Please come back for the next one. But until the next one, I'm Slim, and with my special guest Jason.
Hi guys. Please come back.
Yeah, for sure. And whether you're binging or button mashing, we'll catch you on the next episode. See you. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.